Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the full moon of December, our final full moon of 2022. I'm Cynthia Jewers, for those of you who don't know me, and I'm very happy and excited to be together on this particular full moon to celebrate the burial of the latest and maybe one of the greatest Earth Treasure vases in New Zealand, Aotearoa. And I am juggling a few things here because I believe our beautiful steward of that vase has just joined the call. Is that true, Nicole? Do we have Therese with us? Where is she? There she is. Yes. I just got a message saying that they might not be able to speak, but I see them in the car, Therese and friends. Hello, everyone. This is so exciting to have you with us while still in the midst of this incredible pilgrimage with the treasure vase, which was buried 2 days ago. And I wanted to just say a few words to create context. But Therese, do you want to try to share your voice, or you want to just listen in? Can you say something so that we know how to proceed here?
Hi there. Hi. Great to see you and to be on the call. It feels a bit odd being on the phone in the car because I can't see all of you, and normally I'm on the computer and can see everyone. So hello. I assume you can all see me anyway. So hello to everyone.
Yeah.
And yeah, perhaps we sort of thought because we're at the airport in the middle of missions, dropping Leslie and Roger pick up another hire car and these sort of logistical things right now. We thought the energy's a bit, busy. So we didn't really feel to join and talk, but perhaps if you start talking and then our energy will start to ground down and we'll see if we
Okay.
can share something of the trip as well.
Absolutely. Yes. I'll
Thank you.
open to you in a moment, and just so great that you're here with us, and hello to Itai and to
And
Leslie
Pippa.
and Roger and Pippa and Stephen, I'm assuming, is there. Yep, there he is. All right. Well, this has been so exciting because I have been watching and witnessing the proceedings of this particular pilgrimage as it's been going on. And this is, I don't know how many treasure vases, 56 or something treasure vase that we have seen be buried into this global healing mandala of treasure vases around the world. And this particular treasure vase, well, the practice, for those of you again who are new to this, came from Kushuk Mangdun Rinpoche, a 106-year-old Tibetan Lama living in a cave in Nepal, who I always like to invoke and honor as the one who gave us this practice, this lineage that I received in 1990 and have been carrying out ever since. So Therese has been stewarding this treasure vase for Aotearoa for 3 years. And we've been witnessing her devotion and her beauty and her diligence in taking this vase all around Aotearoa, taking it to all of the holy places, all of the sacred places, all of the places of the waters and the mountains and the rivers, and just introducing this little vase to the land. And if you've seen the newsletter that we just sent out, there's a beautiful story from Therese about her journey with this vase. But when was it, this spring, we did a retreat on the practice of Tara Gaia, which we will be doing again in January. And during that time, Therese received guidance around where the vase should go. And incredibly, as many of you may know, Lama Nawang Sultram Zangpo Rinpoche, who is sort of the lineage master that introduced me to his teacher, Charak Rinpoche, and crafted the treasure vases for us and has been helping to oversee this long journey with the treasure vases over all these 30 some odd years, is now opening a center in New Zealand. And he was present for this pilgrimage, and in fact opened the pilgrimage with the empowerments for Tara and for the Earth Treasure Vase. And and then accompanied Therese and the group for the burial. So this has just been such a beautiful convergence, and I'm personally so moved by having witnessed this. I'm on the verge of tears right now, just feeling into what has been accomplished, Therese and company, and the weaving of the threads that have been carried for so long, not only by you, but by myself and by so many of us who are here who love this practice and are doing what we can to seed our prayers and our intentions for the earth into the land in all these locations. New Zealand being such a key, really. It feels as if the leadership of New Zealand, the indigenous cultures of New Zealand, the connection to the land, to Aotearoa, have been are such a guiding light for the world. And I know, Therese, you have shared that you see this treasure vase as a beacon of light. And I think when some of us were with you before the pilgrimage began, we also saw how this vase is, and in the meditation that we'll do shortly, we imagine light going out from the vases all around the whole planet. And we really saw this particular vase as being this beacon of light, radiating light out into the world. And Nicole, who is here on the call helping to host us and who will lead the meditation shortly, wrote in the newsletter, she wrote how the vase is literally, this particular vase is literally planting itself in the place in the world on planet Earth where the dawn of the new day begins for the whole global community, which I think is such a beautiful image. And I think, as you've said, Therese, the mana or the spiritual strength of the Maori people and of that land is such a force, such a powerful force in the world that we want to deeply honor and show respect for. And I know you have traveled with a very special Maori elder on this journey as well, who has given blessings to the vase. And for that, we are also extremely grateful. So, I'm kind of a little bit overwhelmed and moved and emotional and grateful. I feel as if our practice with the treasure vases has quickened in a certain way over these last several months, with the vases being buried all over the planet. And they are kind of upping the ante of prayers and energies that are needed in the world today. So I think this practice is so powerful. And I hope that those of you who are here tonight, as we maybe hear a little bit from you, Therese, and also from Julian, we invited our beloved sound healer, Julian Silburn, to join us today as well. Julian is a very close friend to Therese and her partner Itai. All of you have been kind of walking along together with the treasure vases that you are stewarding. Julian has also a treasure vase that's very close to being buried in southwestern Australia. And we thought maybe that you would like to say a few words as well, Julian, honoring Therese, but let's just take a moment to, before I pass it on to both Therese and Julian, I want to say one other thing, which is that I met Therese when I went to Australia for the first time with the last of the original treasure vases. She was on that pilgrimage helping as part of the team, and it was through Therese that we met Auntie Margaret Catherine, who was the Jawan elder who became our collective mama, and who gave us all names and made us have relations as family. And I feel that we wouldn't be here in the same way, in this close-knit sense of family, even for those of you who we've never met in person. There's this feeling of connection and family that came to us through Auntie Margaret Catherine, and we would not have had that experience if not for you, Therese. So, just to honor you and your devotion, your way of being in relationship to the elders of the lands that you visit and now live in. And I think this is maybe something that Julian was going to speak to too. So before I open it to you, Therese, let's just hear from Julian for a moment. And Julian, I know you also had a dream that you wanted to share, but maybe the dream can come at the end after we do the meditation, out of that space to hear your dream, which is so relevant to this whole thing. But for now, if you have anything you'd like to say about your experience with this vase and with Therese and helping and stewarding and what this means, what this means, how you see it, Julian.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so yeah, it's just to see the manner that Therese and Itai and have shown for this particular vase, and for them to find a way of very humbly presenting this to the Indigenous people of Aotearoa to consider and to have their blessing and their involvement. It's a big journey to go on that journey, and I understand that because of my own experience with that, with Indigenous engagement over the years. And it can really take you on a big journey, because it's a big, it's quite a big thing to ask. Um, and to then go through the whole sort of journey of not really understanding how is going to happen and how those connections are going to happen, but the faith and trust that by just holding that vision that this is such a beautiful heart offering for the planet at this time, and to come from that space of not pushing and just gently allowing it to grow as time goes on is a real art form. And I just really want to commend Therese in the way that she's gone about that. And it's the all the different places she's taken it and all the different communities. I don't know any treasure vase that's had so much community indigenous, you know, connection to that degree. So it's like a spiritual marathon, and I'm just amazed Therese is still here, you know, with hosting a pilgrimage and, you know, still on the call. That just shows her level of dedication. So yeah, I just really want to honor you, Therese, for everything that you've done and been able to achieve there. And you know, it's just testimony to you, and you know, to have Lama Sultram just pop into the mix. You know, it just shows that this is so right. And um, yeah, it's just so special. And I, you know, love you guys, love you and Itai and all the beautiful community that's you know, with Stephen and Leslie, and um, you know, joining the pilgrimage, and just, you know, bringing in extra mana, extra power to this placement. So yeah, yeah, it's beautiful, and I'm very proud of the way it's been done. Thank you.
Thank you, Julian. So true. So beautiful. Well, Therese and Itai, Leslie and Roger, Stephen, Pippa, we welcome you so much. We honor you. We celebrate you. We want to hear just a little something about where the vase landed and how it landed there.
In the beginning.
Just a little bit.
Thank you so much. Oh gosh, thank you. Firstly, to just honor you and you all gathered there, and to acknowledge that you're all really traveling with us and have been with us all of the way, and that's been a yeah, such a beautiful thing to connect in with the whole globe through you all. So thank you for being there and being here. And it's funny, we're sitting at the airport and in front of us is a sign saying Starlink, planetary connection. And it's got a big picture of the Earth. It's like, okay, this is our portal for now. So this is kind of how it's been. It's been such a magical journey of connection beyond what you could even imagine. Yeah, so we all gathered here in Christchurch and met with Lama Sultram for the Tara Gaia and Earth Treasure Vase teachings, and already from that place, which was such a humble little beautiful Buddhist temple in someone's backyard in suburban Christchurch, with an actual door that's come from Tibet, and walking just into that space and receiving these teachings, which felt, you know, they were coming straight from Nepal and Tibet and this rich and deep tradition. And so already from that moment, amazing connections were made, like with people that had met Lama Sultram 40 years ago in America and now have land in Aotearoa, and just these incredible little connections popping up. So at the same time, we hadn't met yet with Ngaranoa, was the elder who, and her daughter Komoko, who joined us from Raglan, where we live in the North Island in Whangaroa. And they had arrived separately and were travelling out to Akaroa, that peninsula off of the east coast of the South Island, this volcanic crater that we were heading towards. So they were heading out there separately and we headed out there separately. And one of the things that we knew that we needed for the journey that still hadn't been organised is that when we go onto the marae, which is the traditional meeting grounds of the Maori people, there's a certain ceremony that happens. And so Ngaranoa was able to lead us on as the elder woman with the singing out that you do, singing back and forth and and going on slowly to be welcomed. And then we needed a man who was a speaker of Te Reo Maori, the language, and that piece hadn't fallen in, and they just met the guy halfway to Aotearoa, someone who we all knew, half of us knew from Raglan. He'd lived there over the winter, and we'd connected with him, and he was the Mama Margaret of the journey. When we were in Australia together, Mama Margaret just jumped in the van, not, you know, only knowing me and not knowing everyone. She just had that feeling about it, and she just jumped in and came with us and was amazing guardian for our journey. And this man, quite a young man actually, Cruz, his name is Cruz, and he's of this land, Ngai Tahu, Ngāti Māmoe, Waitaha land. And he was just there, and he said, I'm coming with you. You know, they didn't even realize until he said, just drop in here, I'll pick up my bag. And he came back out, jumped in the car, and off they went. So he was our, in the end, one of our greatest guardians and guides for where exactly that this little vase was to end up. So so that happened.
And
Yeah.
you mentioned Isabel.
Isabel as well.
Yeah, we met
Yeah.
her. She's as well a Maori, and
Yeah.
she helping. So Isabella is a Maori, and she helping Lama Sutram to set up the center here in Christchurch, and so she connected to Aotearoa as well. So this was another connection.
So she has that same line of ancestry, and she's very intuitive with her knowing. She hasn't necessarily grown up in the culture, but her connection with the land is so deep almost without her knowing it. So that actually felt like a big healing part of the journey, didn't it? There was lots of points of real healing of this, you know, that whole line of disconnection and separation from culture that's happened through colonization. Isabel was carrying that thread of people that have, you know, sort of grown up without culture, but still knowing her, that, you know, who she is, and where she's from and the people that she's from, and slowly, you know, coming back towards that. Although she has a very deep Buddhist spirituality and is Lama Sutram's student, her indigenous connection is just, you know, what's the words to put to that?
Phenomenal.
It's just so
It's
strong.
like-
and
And humble, yeah.
It was
So
really
humble.
reawakened through this journey. She was so grateful to come with us and to have that connection to the marae.
Yeah. And then we also met a really special elder in Aotearoa itself. She lives in the main street there. And this was someone that Ngaranoa had met before, because Ngaranoa is not from this area, she's from the far north. So she was helping to make the connections down here, and she'd met Nani Mahia.
Uh-oh, we lost Therese. Frozen screen. Well, let's see. We can get her this way. Nicole, I'm not the only one who lost her, am I? No, everybody, she's frozen, right? Oh, there-
Yeah, she's frozen for me too.
All right, well, we'll see if she comes back on and just give it a little pause. How's everybody doing? Yes, no, good. All right, hanging in there. Good. So, depending on what happens with Therese, we'll give it a few more moments and then probably go into the meditation and just gathering up all of this incredible energy the excitement, the fulfillment, the accomplishment. It's such a profound energetic release when one of the treasure vases is actually buried, because it takes, as you said, Julian, what was your word? Spiritual marathon. It really is that. And any one of you who has taken up this practice as a steward knows that it really takes no less than everything to get that vase in the ground where it needs to go, and to discover where it needs to go exactly. And the whole process, meeting the elders, getting the permission, finding the way, and getting out of the way over and over again ourselves, so that something larger can happen, something that we can't possibly figure out, but that is, as someone I know who has been part of this said, we kind of apprentice to the vase, that they know what they want, they know where they're going to go, but we're sort of the ones who have to set aside our big ideas and allow that to happen, allow something larger than ourselves to operate through us. And that's the magic of it, which really sets in motion really the miracles that can come, and we don't know what will come from burying a treasure vase in this location or any of the locations, and yet amazing things have already happened. So anyway, the kind of release of the accomplishment, the excitement of fulfilling, being able to plant those prayers in the ground, and then to let it do its thing. It's a powerful act. And so we're just in the midst of feeling all of that with that group of people in that car right now, as they have been able to manage this. So it seems that maybe they have lost connection now. What do you think? Julian, Nicole, what's your sense? Shall we proceed?
Yeah, I mean, if it was going to reconnect, it probably would have happened fairly soon after. And I suppose we can maybe just wait another minute possibly, and then proceed.
Let's do, and I'll send Therese a message saying that we've gone into the meditation. Oh, there they are. Wait a minute. Coming in now. Yeah, so welcome back, Therese and company. Are you there? Did we?
Yeah, they're just connecting.
Oh, there's Itai. Yeah, sorry everyone. Not seeing them. Are they there? You guys want to come back to us?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay, no
My phone
worries.
just dropped out. We'll see how we go on Itai's phone. I think that was Nani Mahia going, what are you guys saying about me?
All right, well, we'll give you maybe another 5 minutes or so to kind of like complete whatever story you feel to share, and then go into the meditation. And if you would like to stay with us and hear the prayers and be with us afterwards, we would certainly love that. How do you feel, Therese? Just do complete whatever it is that you would like to share about your journey now.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so Nani Mahia was a really important part of helping us to find the exact location for the vase, and also really deeply connecting with Lama Sultram as family. Actually, that real family connection happened through her. Felt like a mother-son to Lama Sultram, and also really acknowledged Cruz, our young but deeply competent guide on that land. So he definitely had her blessing. So then we went out to stay at the marae, had a beautiful welcoming on, and the people that welcomed us, even there was a great mutual acknowledgement of the beautiful energy that was being shared together on the land there. At the marae was where we sort of prepared the Earth Treasure Vase for her placement into the ground. And at that point, that was in terms of putting her into her guardian hue. She's in a little gourd called a hue. Hinepute hue being the goddess who draws out all of the warlike anger and grief from the world, and pain and trauma, and pulls it all into her belly with a big deep in-breath, and sends out a beautiful soft gentle sound to bring peace to the world. So that's the guardian of this Earth Treasure Vase. And Komako's dad had grown that hue in his garden. Lots of family connections. And that from that moment, the ceremony was really handed over to the Maori people to really, they were just guiding us every step from there.
And even Lama Sutram decided not to join us for the burial, to make sure that it will be the people of the land that do it.
Wow.
And so he
helped us to prepare her in the hue and was there for that. And then he let us go off and bury her. So we buried her on the afternoon of 2 days ago. 4 o'clock. And and then we went out. We met him again this morning, and him and Isabel came out to the forest where the vase is buried. There's a really big tree called a totara, and massive, maybe the width of 10 people around with their arms outstretched. And it's sort of, around that area.
And it might be around 2,000 year.
Maybe 1,000.
1,000. Some people say, depends who you ask. Depends who you ask. Well, it's
an ancient guardian of the land. And the birds who blessed the placement were the kereru, which is a pigeon, a peaceful pigeon, very big one, and the tui, who is the most beautiful songbird of the land, I would say. Yeah. So she's in the ground, and she knew where to go, and that's what Nani Mahia kept saying. Well, she knows where to go. Hopefully you guys will work it out too. We did. So alalahoya, it's done.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you.
To say that we are now on our way to Castle Hill. This is a very special place that the Dalai Lama called his second home.
The big stone beings there.
So our journey is still going. Yeah, we're still in blessing.
Riding the energy.
Yes, definitely. I'm so grateful to join you here.
And you had dolphins.
This is amazing.
And
dolphins.
Lots
the
of
tiny little Hector dolphins. Yeah. Penguins, seals. The seals are having their babies.
Wow. How wonderful. Well, I want us to gather up all of the goodness that has been generated through this sacred activism, this activity on behalf of Mother Gaia, and especially of Aotearoa. And just thank you all so deeply for your service and your inspiration and your dedication and your willingness to travel. Stephen from Japan, Leslie and Roger from California, all the way there to be with you, Lama Sultram from Nepal, and all of you who are on this call, calling in from many 65 different locations. So we will ask Julian to play his instrument and lead us into the meditation, which will connect this vase to all the other vases around the world, and imagine the healing flowing out into the song lines of Mother Earth to fulfill our prayers for this beautiful blue-green planet we call home. And as we like to go into the meditation, we turn off our videos so that we are sort of undistracted by all the activity and the interesting faces and people and places that we see on the screen. Thank you so much for showing yourselves. It makes such a difference to see each other, to make community, to feel like we're really together. And but we'll come back to each other visually on the other side of the meditation, and we'll invite everyone here who would like to share a prayer or a blessing on this beautiful vase that has been planted at the base of this Totara tree, I think it's called, a Totara tree, this ancient tree in this volcanic area of the South Island of Aotearoa, through the efforts of these beautiful friends, elders, and lineage masters. And if you're with us on the other side, Therese, we will open the circle to hear from you, and then we'll open the circle to hear from the group and Julian's dream. And if not, we'll see you in the dream time. All right, Jules, over to you.
Thank you.
You on, breathing in and breathing out, deep and slow. Feel your body relax and sensing the ground beneath you, holding you, offering stability and calm. Your roots reaching deep down into the earth. Breathing in and breathing out, drawing up through your taproot the nourishing energies of Mother Earth, which she gives freely and generously to you. Letting thoughts of the past and concerns for the future just melt away to arrive here together in deep communion with this precious moment. From this place of feeling deeply rooted and grounded, we open up to the light above, feeling the warmth upon us from the sun and the moon and the stars glistening. Feeling expansive as we connect with the vast energies of the cosmos. Rooted below, connected above. This present moment, breathing. And now, feeling your connectedness to this special place you sit on the planet right now. Feeling your relationship with the soils, the stones, the waterways, and the forests and flowers, the communities of life who also call that habitat home, just like you, who also receive stability and nourishment from Mother Earth and the warmth of the sun and the moon, just like you. In this present moment, in this special place, we acknowledge those who have come before us. We acknowledge the ancestors of the original indigenous peoples of the lands that we inhabit, who have been in sacred relationship with these lands for countless generations. We acknowledge the future ancestors of the land, who will continue to hold this land as sacred for countless generations to come. Humbly, we invite their blessing upon our practice right now. Let's also call upon all of our sources of inspiration, our own ancestors, elders, teachers, guides, lineage masters, Buddhas, bodhisattvas, and wisdom beings that we feel connected to. Inviting them to be present with us now. Inviting their blessings to enter you. And everyone who's present for this meditation, receiving the blessing of their love, their support, guidance, healing, and clarity. As this blessing enters you and you breathe it in, feel it entering into your deepest heart of hearts. And as you breathe out, allow this love to pour forward to everyone who's present in this circle. And in this way, in the circle that we share, we are breathing in the blessings, and we are breathing out and sharing these blessings and this love. Like an ebb and a flow of gentle tides washing over us. Gradually, from this circle, we expand our focus to include our friends and our family, our community, the community of life in our region, our country. These waves spreading onto this continent, across the waters, to include all beings in all places everywhere, embracing this whole planet with our blessings and with our love, letting our breath carry this. We feel this rootedness below and this expansiveness above, and these waves of blessing flowing. From this place, let's turn our awareness to those who are suffering, the places where there is war, poverty, disease, pollution, droughts, or floods, or fires, wherever the need for healing is very great. Breathing in this suffering and breathing out our peace and love and deep care to help relieve the suffering of the earth and her people and of all life. Imagine that where there is hunger, great nourishing gardens begin to grow. Where there is thirst, fresh, clean waterways spring forward. Where there are unhoused, safe shelters are built. Where there is war and conflict, we hear the choirs of peace echoing in the hills. Where there's sickness, we see vital health return and celebrated. And aware of where the earth is unstable, in danger, or out of balance in any way, imagine restorative balanced power, bringing vitality and protection to these spaces. Hearing the song lines of these lands singing in great harmonies. Seeing the communities overflowing with generosity and reciprocity, the riches of nature flowering into abundance to sustain all life. Revitalizing this radiant blue-green planet we call home. She's glowing. And as we see her so radiant, we call into our awareness the presence of the Earth Treasure Vases that have been planted or are in the process of being planted all around the world. Let us imagine that together we're pouring our love and our care in the form of light into each and every little clay pot buried in the body of Mother Earth, filling each vase with our deepest prayers and blessings for healing and for protection. Imagine each Earth Treasure Vase radiating light in every direction, sending healing wherever it is needed, in whatever form it's needed. Seeing the light like rainbows streaming forth from each of the vases. White, yellow, red, blue, green, and all the colors in between. Breathing in and breathing out. Allow this feeling of care and compassion in our hearts to grow and to glow brighter and brighter. Sending that love out in the form of light to the people, the animals, the plants, the waters, the places that are connected to the earth treasure vases that need healing and protection. The past, the present, and into the future. So we begin at the center of the Earth Treasure Vase Global Healing Mandala in a cave above Los Alamos National Laboratory in New Mexico, the birthplace of the atomic bomb. And to the north, at the source of the Rio Grande River in Creede, Colorado. Down to the south, at the mouth of the Rio Grande at the Gulf of Mexico. To the east, on top of Mount Baldy, above Santa Fe. And to the west, on Mount Chicoma, known as Sicamu to the Tewa people of New Mexico, the custodians of the sacred lands where this mandala began. And now, after having established the center and the 4 directions, we travel out into the mandala, growing in every direction to Indian Point Nuclear Reservation on the Hudson River in New York, to the headwaters in the old growth redwood forest in North Carolina, the Punta Cometa on the coast of Oaxaca, Mexico, Vilcabamba, Ecuador, Jakova, Kosovo, the Lawrence Laboratory at the University of California, Berkeley, the Dal Dum Forest on the border of Thailand and Burma, the village of Ein Karem in Israel, Palestine, Hiroshima, Japan, the cloisters in New York City after 9/11, the Biosphere 2 in Oracle, Arizona, the Martin Luther King Freedom Center in Oakland, California, the source of the Ganges in India, the source of the Amazon in Peru, the Southern Pacific Ocean, 93 feet down in Egum Atoll, the Trobriand Islands, Papua New Guinea, the Arctic Circle, Alaska, the Kogi lands of the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta, Colombia, Telewayan Village, Lofa County, Voinjama District, Liberia, West Africa, the Blyde River Canyon, Limpopo Province, South Africa, the Giza Plateau, Egypt, Haleakala, Maui, Hawaii, the Itombwe Forest, South Kivu Province, Democratic Republic of Congo, Avebury, England, Binduluk, Jawoyn Country, Catherine, North Territory, Australia. And the second generation of Earth Treasure Vases in Gabarnmung, Arnhem Land, Australia, the Mackenzie King Park, Ottawa River Valley, Ottawa, Gatineau, Canada, the original garden in Findhorn, Scotland, the Great Stupa of Buddhanath in Kathmandu, Nepal, the Flint Hills of Kansas in the heartland of America, the Santa Cruz Mountains near Silicon Valley, California, the Valles Caldera of northern New Mexico, Honolulu, Bungle Bungles, the Kimberleys, Australia, the village of Aotearoa at the edge of the sea in northernmost Arctic Alaska, the Hanford Nuclear Reservation on the shores of the Columbia River in the state of Washington, Mount Ryosen above Fukushima, Japan, back to where it all began at the cave hermitage of Charak, Nepal, to Margibi County, Liberia, in the base of an old ironbark tree in Dithahul Mountain in the Budawang Wilderness of Walbunja Country, Yuin Nation, southeastern Australia. And to our root temple, Tolugompa in Nepal, the Munzar Valley in Turkey, Serpent Mound, Great Earthworks in Ohio, the Ashaninka Spiritual Portal, Campa do Rio Amonea Indigenous Land, Amazon Forest in Brazil, in the demilitarized zone between North and South Korea, the Arhuaco lands in the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta, Colombia. Third generation of Earth Treasure Vases, Antarctica, the Isle of Lewis in the Outer Hebrides, Scotland, the Saugatuck Dunes on Lake Michigan in the USA, to the Highwood Valley in the Canadian Rockies in Alberta, Canada, southeastern Turtle Island, United States, Chaganagi, Tennessee, on the shores of Lake Washington in Kirkland, Washington. Now, as a community, we turn our attention to the 25 second and third generation vases that have been dedicated, but are still currently in the hands of their stewards, gathering their prayers, gathering their offerings in their own spiritual marathons. In this moment, we send them our blessings. And to the 11 second generation vases that are still awaiting their dedication, they sit on the altar with the mother vase. And finally, as we feel this abundance, this fullness and radiance in the mandala across the globe, let's bring our attention and unify our focus upon this most recent burial. The Earth Treasure Vase for Aotearoa, New Zealand, as we've heard just 2 days ago, buried under the ancient Totara tree on the inner rim of the Aotearoa volcano in Te Waipunamu, the South Island. Breathing in and breathing out, giving thanks, honoring all those who gathered together for this event, for this burial in such a humble way. Breathing in and breathing out, imagine that all that is needed to relieve the suffering of the earth can be seen as light radiating out from each of these vases in every direction. Imagine that this healing light flowing out from the vases fills all the songlines, travels all the meridians of the earth, radiant, rainbow. See the mandala like a web embracing the whole planet. Light flowing back and forth like waves from your heart, from your node on the planet into this mandala, energizing all of the Earth Treasure Vases, fulfilling their purpose to empower the elements of their locations for healing and protection. Feel the collective spiritual intelligence of the entire global Earth Treasure Vase mandala, activating your node, entering you as a holy vessel. And finally, please focus your concentration one-pointedly on bringing healing and protection to the whole earth for all time. Seeing the healing and protection radiating out from all the vases around the earth endlessly. Imagine the healing is accomplished and the vitality of the earth is completely restored. Now, recognizing this great interconnected web that is life on Earth, of which we all belong. Let's give thanks for this precious, sacred time and pray that the compassion and peace that is our true condition may bring supreme happiness and benefit to the earth and to all beings. With another deep, slow in-breath and deep, slow out-breath, let's bring our awareness back to our body, feeling our feet on the ground, our fingers, our hands, grounded on the earth in our own location, wiggling our toes, opening our eyes, gently returning to the circle for sharing when you're ready.
Thank you so much, Nicole. Everyone, for your presence and participation. I'd like to open the circle for sharing, for blessings, for prayers upon this beautiful vase that has just been planted, and on all the locations of the mandala around the planet. So honoring you, Therese, and friends. If there's anything you would like to share, offer, we'll start with you. And we'll come back to you at the end if you're still here.
Kia ora. My name is Tennille. Is it time to do the prayer?
It is. I had called on Therese, and then I believe she fell away again. So yeah, we'll go with you, Tennille. Wonderful to have you with us. And others of you can either unmute yourself or raise your hand as we go along. Let's keep it kind of in the moment, letting it evolve as it will. So please proceed, Tennille. Wonderful to have you here.
Thank you. Yes, thank you to Brother Julian for inviting me in doing this very special. I'm very new to it, but it's such an honor to be here representing my people from Aotearoa. So it's a wonderful thing to be able to be here. Quite serendipitously, I am wearing the korowai, which is the tui bird, which was actually what she was referring to. So the feathered cape is what is worn in traditional special occasions for things such as these to honor everyone. So I thought I wanted to wait, but I've been pushed to say this first because as the ancestors of the Māori people, typically when we do address and we connect in with them, it's and I thought perhaps energetically representing that before we go into prayer is to meet them and that energy, and we meet them in that energy traditionally with the whakapapa, which is the traditional way of how two different tribes or people would meet and they would share their pepeha, which is like it's they would walk in and connect, and they would say basically their lineage and what mountain they belong to, what river they belong to, what canoe they belong to, sub-tribe and tribe and so on, and their ancestors' lineage. And so I thought it was quite fitting to begin with that before everyone shared their prayers, so we could meet the ancestors and welcome them in. And I would share my pepeha, my whakapapa, with them of my lineage to bring the blessings forward to them. So I'll begin with that, and then I'll also do what's known as a karakia, which is an incarnation prayer to infuse into and commence this. So. And I will give English interpretations for everyone too. So we start with Tihe Māori Ora, which is the claim to call, the right to speak. Ko whakatere te maunga, this is the mountain that I belong to. Ko waiama te awa is the river. Ka takina toke mata, Aotearoa te waka, which is the canoe. Ko mahurihuri te hapu, which is the sub-tribe. Ko ngāpui te iwi, which is my tribe. Ko tuhu rangi te marae, the meeting house. Ko ene te papatahe tupuna, my ancestor. Ko mezi hohepa toku koai, my grandmother. Ko Fred McFall toku korua, grandfather. Ko te wela Moana Bentley toku mama, mother. Ko Albert Bentley toku papa, father. Ko January Trouchet toku hoa rangatiri, partner. Ko Tenille Aho, myself. Nō rira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, katoa. Therefore, greetings, greetings, greetings to you all. And then with the karakia is an incarnation prayer that the Māori would typically use as a way to bless. And it was rituals and chants of which the Māori would use as a part of their culture. Poetic imagery and metaphor are also used to call upon and recognize the influence of the Atua, the spiritual supernatural beings and gods and our ancestors, and other aspects of environment and whakapapa, the lineage and the history. So many karakia in common used today can be traced back to the 19th century following the introduction of Christianity. New karakia were written to or adopted to include Christian symbolism and acknowledge the Christian God, Jesus Christ, and also others have passed down through pre-colonial times or otherwise to follow more ancient or traditional formats. This one's a traditional ancient format. Ko te reo o ngā manu tira. There is the voice of the birds. Ka tangi nei I te ao. Heralding daylight. Kua uru ko te rā, as the sun enters. Ki wainga nui ia rangi nui, between Sky Father, ia papatu anuku, and Earth Mother. Ka noho ko rangi nui ki runga, Sky Father above. Ko papatu anuku ki raro, Earth Mother below. Ka heke iho ko ngā roimata I rangi nui. Rangi's tears fall. Ka hiki ake ko te kohu I a papatuanuku. Papa's mists rise. Ko te tohu tiera. Thus begin the sign. Ka ora taua I te ao I te pō. That we shall live in light and darkness. Tuturu whakamoa kia tīna, tīna. This is my commitment to them. Huie tā kie. Gather and unite.
Mm. Mm. So beautiful to hear you speak the language and bring us into the culture in this way. Thank you so much, Tennille. Yeah. Seems that Therese and Itai are having trouble coming on, so we'll just continue now. And as you are moved, please unmute yourself or raise your hand and offer your own prayer or blessing in this time. Let's keep it focused on this particular moment of sacred activism that we are in the midst of right now. And offer what wants to be offered. Ray, calling on you.
Yes, I'd simply like to offer very joyful gratitude and joyful respect to the vase under that immense tree that is full of light and giving us wonderful energy tonight. And in gratitude to Therese and Itai and Stephen and all and the elders, it is a great wonder and privilege to be part of this moment that they've brought to us.
Mm.
So respect and gratitude, and thank you.
Mm. Thank you so much, Ray. Yes. Mm. What other prayers or blessings, inspirations are bubbling up in our circle? Heidi?
I feel very grateful for all of the beings that are present, the ancestors that were called in. I want to acknowledge the land that I live on, that is the Yukon people land, and that it's also connected to the indigenous life and wisdom keepers, and the waterways that connect from the land here out to the ocean, that connect into Aotearoa, that the connections are both with the vases, but also with the beings that have created the beauty that we live in. So may they be honored.
Mm-hmm. May they be honored all around the whole planet. Yeah. Thank you, Heidi. Mm-hmm.
I would, Martha, can you hear me?
Yes, and thank you, Martha. It's nice to hear us say our name and where we're calling from. I'm sorry I didn't say that before, but that would be great. Thank you.
I'm in Chicago,
Okay.
land of wind. But my inspiration in this moment is to honor the forces of fire associated with the volcano of course, and the tremendous power of some of what I feel is going to be difficult healing work for the planet. And I pray that these powerful fire forces are met with intelligence and containment and respect and the kind of channeling that I heard in Julian's music tonight, which was utterly otherworldly. I heard everything from birds to deep, gravelly earth spirit laughter and just amazing forces I certainly wouldn't think of. And the fact that we bring these forward under your guidance, Cynthia, is quite a miracle and a profound experience. I offer my prayers of healing fire.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Martha. Received deeply. Susan, I see your hand.
Hi, glad to be here tonight. Thank you for everyone on the call and those who have brought the vase to be buried in New Zealand. And I'm grateful for that. I was just thinking how powerful and just even more powerful these calls, these gatherings have gotten. And I'm thinking of the tree. I have a deep connection with the plant world and just thinking of how all the trees are so connected. And so between the vases and the trees, they talk to each other. And also that this vase was by the volcano, and the volcano in Hawaii is active now, and I'm sure others are going to be more and more active too. And just a release of tension in a way, and a letting go and a recreating. And the rock that I chose to hold today was, you know, it has the little swirl in the middle, and you know, the womb of the earth. So I was just thinking that, so I'm just thinking of all the womb and creation that's being activated. So these are some of my thoughts right now. So again, thank you.
And where are you calling from, Susan?
Oh, I'm from Elk Grove Village, Illinois.
Okay. Thank you.
Not that far from Chicago. Let's put it that way.
Beautiful. Thank you very much for your prayer, for your offering. Alalaho. All right. Mimi, please share your voice with us.
Hi, I'm Mimi. I'm calling from Los Angeles. I'm glad to be here. This is my first time. And I would like to share a prayer and a blessing that we as humankind can continue to unfold in our consciousness, to connect to the land, all the land, and Mother Earth as a human, as a spiritual being that holds all the wisdom that we could possibly need to live with compassion and harmony. Yeah. So.
Thank you. May it be so. May it be so. Thank you, Mimi and Wendy. We'll gratefully hear from you next.
Good evening. Yes, Wendy from the night north of everyone here and the Alberta Rocky Mountains. And I feel I feel aligned with all the vases, but this one in New Zealand and just all the discussion around it's just very resonating very strongly with me. And we speak of volcanoes, and you know, they are the Nustas. They are the feminine children of Pachamama. There's the Apus that are the masculine, but Nustas are the feminine. They are her wild and untamed daughters. And that just seems to fit in with all of this. And what I have brought to share is something that I found, which is a vertebrae, a bone. And I found that in the mountains along a river. And I would like to offer what this represents into the vase as our connection to the divine origins, but the strength and the alignment of our own spines so that we may walk tall and strong and with our heads up and in alignment with all and in alignment with the spine of our beautiful Gaia on this planet, of all the mountains and the rivers being, you know, the feminine that also tend to run north and south. And I want to put all of that alignment in harmony into this very precious vase and thank you, you know, for all we have heard tonight. It's very, very powerful. So walk on, my brothers, walk on, my sisters, and may we all walk tall and strong. Blessings.
Indeed, may it be so. Long and strong and tall and willing to go the distance. Yeah, aligned. Thank you so much, Wendy. Yeah. Michelle?
Hi, I'm Michelle in Louisville, Kentucky in the US. And I've been having a sense of whispers of cloud beings, like hovering and moving, expressing fluidly. You know, that's a phase of water, and connected with all the waters and all the replenishing, regenerating that happens in any growth of Earth. And so this sense of whispers of cloud beings, I mention as I'm sensing and usher in with love to the vase and listening to that fluidity of language that we can sometimes only see and sometimes hear with our hearts.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you so much, Michelle, for that transmission. Yeah. Olivia.
I'm Olivia. I'm here on the traditional unceded and ancestral territories of the Tsleil-Waututh, Squamish, and Musqueam peoples in Vancouver, British Columbia. And I'm very grateful to live, learn, and play here. I'm wearing a tiny orange sweater. And this is a new symbol in Turtle Island in Canada for dedicated to the healing of the residential school, Indian residential school genocide. And so I'm wearing it, in a way, it's like the vase. It's like a way to focus healing energy tonight for the children who died, those who survived, and their families. May they find healing and peace and strength. And I'm wearing, or I'm kind of wrapped in a special blanket that Pema Dechen, is that how you say her name? The Pema that does the artwork for Tolu Gompa to raise the funds.
Yes, I'm Ingmar Pema Dechen.
Pema Dechen, okay, Ingmar Pema Dechen. Yeah, so I just wanted to kind of do a shout out for her beautiful artwork, because if we buy it, maybe someone could put the link, but if we buy the artwork, we can have it made up like this into a cozy blanket or artwork. I got a couple of her beautiful Tibetan paintings that she did with Lama Tsoltram, and one that she had done earlier on her own. And so I wanted to just kind of add that. And finally, my co-steward of the BC vase, Maggie Kaplan, the father of her son, gave us a butterfly as an offering to the vase. And Maggie asked me to put it in the vase tonight. So this is from Ian. And he just gave the butterfly without any words. And it's just so perfect. I just wanted to say that I dedicate the butterfly to the vase in the spirit of a sun mandala dissolving, because I'll be crumbling it to put it into the vase. And then I was reflecting on how when something dies and goes back to the cosmos, its spirit is released for all. So may the butterfly's spirit go into the mandala. Alalaho.
Alalaho. Thank you so much, Olivia. May the power and the blessings that have been generated in Aotearoa with the accomplishment of this particular treasure vase that's just been buried, carry up to you in British Columbia and give energy to the vase that you are stewarding there. Yeah. Thank you. Marita?
Hello, everyone. I am participating from Redmond, Washington, right across Lake Washington from Seattle. And in addition to this being the full moon, I would like to acknowledge that it is Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day. And I would like to add all of the energy of the peacemaking steps that have taken place since that day of infamy in 1941. I would like to add them to the pure joy that was just radiating from Therese tonight, and connect, and while knowing that her Earth Treasure Vase is connecting to all the others right now in the mandala. And I'd like for that energy combined with that joy to just flow through all the veins of the mandala and create the world that we are seeking.
Mm-hmm.
May it be so.
Mm-hmm. May it be so. Thank you so much, Marita. Marita, who just buried a treasure vase on the shores of Lake Washington herself, and whose story we will be hearing soon enough, I think in January. Yes. I'd like to call on you, Julian, if you're there and callable on, to maybe say a little bit more to us if you wouldn't mind making the offering of your dream into this circle tonight.
Sure. Yeah, I would really appreciate that opportunity because yeah, it's just it kind of surprises me, but doesn't surprise me that spirit kind of shows things in advance. Part of my human brain is I can't quite understand how it can work like this, but it does. So yeah, the dream I had was I suggest probably maybe a couple of years ago, and it just came out of seemingly nowhere, but obviously from somewhere. So I'm just going to actually read it out because uh, it was written out fresh from that experience, and I feel like there is a lot of medicine in this dream. There was a ceremony being held on a high mountainside near the ocean. The mountain literally towered above the ocean. There was a large piece of greenstone, and when I say large, it was big, like a big piece, and I couldn't quite see how big it was at the time until later. But it was like a tablet, and it was the Aotearoa greenstone, and one other stone, and it looked like some kind of red stone, and it was being heated up, and you could see the color starting to change as more and more heat got into the stone, until it became red hot, and then the two stones became one. There was a man there who was Maori. He then, once the stone had cooled, he painted onto this huge piece of fire forged stone. The painting had yellow flowers in the foreground, and then these little images of white dome temples of light. He was talking about an upcoming time where the light would come in and people would be spiritually strong again, and the beauty of life and connection to nature would return. We then saw little boats on the water below coming around the base of the mountain on the ocean below. They were beautiful little boats glowing with light. There was a beautiful warm feeling, and it felt like there was great hope around the corner. We were so high up on this mountainside, and we're wondering how were we to get down. The Maori man showed the way by showing how to traverse this steep part, and he said that there were hills to travel down that we needed to follow first. The earth was rich and fertile as we travelled. Yeah, so I just I don't know if I'm sure a lot of you have experienced this. Is sometimes a dream can shift your state of consciousness into a state that just makes you viscerally feel hopeful, optimistic, like a sign or something that you just know is something that is happening, and it puts you into a really different state of being, and it just made me feel really, really good. And I had a Earth Treasure Vase ceremony last night with community through a yoga center, and we really acknowledged the Aotearoa vase, and we were asking for blessings, and the feeling again was just so, it was just like, the way I describe it was when we finished the ceremony, it felt like a lake that was just mirror-like smooth. It was just so smooth and so peaceful and beautiful. And then on my way home, there was the most incredible lightning storm it was just flash lightning, and it was just constant. And I was driving on the freeway, and these lightning flashes were just like coming down, and they were like the roots of light coming down. It was just so incredible. And just one last thing to share was when Therese and Itai and all the pilgrims were there with Lama Sultram, when he did the Tara meditation and the Earth Treasure Vase meditation, again, after that ceremony and after Therese had shared so much of the journey and everything that had sort of happened at that point, after that call, I just felt this pure joy and pure peace, and it just felt so good, you know, and it just felt like what's really the medicine of these kind of ceremonial alignments is to be able to get to that space of connection and communion with the Indigenous. And it's the same here with the Indigenous people, and the Indigenous people are saying, we're ready to share our culture, we're ready to, you live on this land, you're part of this culture, let's do this, let's celebrate this connection, let's do this every day, you know, let's celebrate, you know, this coming together in real mutual you know, regard. And I feel that what Therese and Itai and the group and Lama Sultram and all the ancestors, they're all preparing the ground beautifully for this kind of level of connection where we come together, we're not separate, and we can really embrace each other, and we can truly celebrate. And I feel like this, you know, the boat's coming around the corner and this new light coming in is a really good sign that it's coming, you know, it's coming fast. And sometimes it doesn't feel like it is, but it is, you know, all these efforts are leading to that place we all dream of.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Julian, for that vision and that reminder that it is happening. And your dream, as so many of your dreams, show us the way, you know, open that portal where we can see what is. And in these meditations, in these kinds of ceremonial gatherings, you know, I think we are cultivating that ground, as you say, to create the conditions for what we want to see in the world and come together. It's the work of our times. So here we are. Hallelujah. Isn't it wonderful? Yes. So good. Liza Jane, and then Maggie and Eva.
Hello, dear friends. I too am feeling the joy of the connections. When I heard Julian speak of the yellow flowers in his dream, it made me think of the haiku about pick up a yellow flower and become the vase. And I have loved that sentiment. And what I'd like to offer into the vase at this time is an acknowledgement that we are the ancestors of the future. And that just makes me feel really giddy right now. It makes me feel so happy because I think that we're doing a pretty worthy job of the descendants. And Tennille, I want to acknowledge how beautiful your offering was to us tonight. Thank you so much. And the connection with the Indigenous and with this practice, it is mythic, it is magical, it is inexplicable, but it is so real. And I'm just so joyous to be a part of that practice. Therese reached out to me a couple of weeks ago for support with the Tara Gaia mantra. And so as I sing it daily, I've been dedicating my practice to this vase, and I feel the connection, even though I'm so far away. So I just want to celebrate this time with each of you. I see that joy from Therese, and I share in it. Alalaho.
And you are calling from where?
I'm calling from Tennessee. I just recently planted a vase in the Southern Appalachian Mountain Range, in the ancestral lands of the Chalagi, in the Great Smoky Mountains, in the Shakonahay.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Liza Jane. And for those of you who might be interested in learning the Tara Gaia mantra, we'll be singing it together January when we gather up again to cultivate that practice in support of all of this. So yeah, thank you for being here. Maggie and Ava, please.
Me? Oh, good, me go. Okay. Hello, dear ones. I would like to, firstly, joining some dots. Also, to Neil, thank you so much to have your presence, your language, your connecting invitation. And I'm drawing on particularly where you speak of us engaging with the light and the dark. And Judith, can't see where Judith is, when you had the womb of the mother that is there, and Julian, the strikes of lightning. They were sort of all interconnecting dots. For me, there was, I'll go back before the vase was buried. I didn't sleep the night before. There also has been a very deep connection to this vase in New Zealand. So there was an experience there. It was like pouring a blessing into the vase, but I felt like I was just the intermediary in the middle of it that was there. So I'll just draw the threads, a little bit of the meaning that I was making from it. So certainly that a deep prayer with this vase and understanding and meaning was the light that it's issuing. But in this instance, it went deep down into the land of dark, into the land of mystery. Could be described as that womb of the mother that was there, into sort of the heart of darkness, where the unbornness still lies, where seeds that are yet to come into being are still held. And it was a feeling of this connection from the depth and richness, the yearning, the call of our prayers were like an invocation going in. And it was like, I think, just simply evolutionary time that had a readiness. There was this evocation coming out from this core of the womb of darkness, of mystery, of all things that are yet to come into being. And then it was all sort that was arising. And I think the beautiful descriptions that people have shared there in Julian's dream, in the music, are description enough of some of that potentiality that was coming forth within it all. So my prayer is that this for great fecundity of this meeting of the light and the dark, from our hopes, from Genesis that's still wanting to arise, that out of the ethereal coming up, that we can hold it and create forms of new life that are due to be born, that are due to live out in their greatness and the fullness that is there.
Mm. Mm.
So deep honour to that, the depth of mystery that holds it all.
Mm. Yeah.
And if it is, may it be so. I was also, in the course of it, drew back to a course of lectures, as I felt there was, from a long time ago, there was something of the Maoris. I don't know if it's so, Tennille, but this person described New Zealand as the land of the placenta. And that sort of somehow fitted that, different to the Australian Aborigines here, that Maoris build relationship through where the placenta is buried, which is different to here in Australia, where it comes either from where the male dreams the dreaming long before the baby is conceived, or the place it's born. So if it has truth, this land of placenta, may it be rich. May we bury it with all of that hidden treasure that can nourish new life into greatness. So may it be so. If it is so, may it be so.
May it be so. Blessings.
Sweetheart, we're complete.
Thank you so much, Maggie, Eva, Kitty Kitty. Beautiful, grateful for your words, for your vision, for your blessings, Maggie, for what you see, bringing it forward so that we can see it too. This weaving of dark and light and life. And
thank you for receiving it. Sometimes it's hard to get out. Thank you for receiving it.
we're all the richer for what you see. Yeah. Let's take you, Rachel Denny.
Okay, well, I'm Rachel, and I am calling in tonight from Paso Robles in California. And I just wanted to offer to the occasion a little bit of flute music. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rachel. That's beautiful. The dog is beautiful too. So I think that brings us to a close tonight. I want us to gather up all of this once again. Maggie once spoke about a dilly bag full of stars that came to her in Australia in connection to one of the vases. And I'm imagining all of these prayers and offerings filling that little dilly bag till it's overflowing and then pouring into the song lines, pouring into all the vases, especially this one in New Zealand, until it is just glowing, as Nicole so beautifully illustrated in the meditation tonight. The light that is the manifestation of our love, of our caring, of our connection, all around the planet, radiating out through these holy vessels, lighting up the world, reminding us to be vessels ourselves in all the ways that we're called to, which only we can do. Our special gifts, offering them day in and day out, waking and dreaming, light and dark, feeding this global healing mandala with our intentions for the protection and the healing and the restoration of this web of life, of which we are each a part. And giving thanks once again to all of those who have gone before, our ancestors, all of the elders that we honor, the wisdom carriers who guide us, and our own wisdom, our own innate nature, beautiful nature, that when we dive in like this is revealed. Let it too be a light in the world, guiding us, guiding each other. May we take refuge in this circle, in this sense of connection, so important to feel, to not be isolated when things get difficult, which they are. And remember this joy that accompanied the vase being buried in the base of this ancient tree on the edge of the volcano, Aotearoa, as a beacon of light radiating out into the world, quickening all the other treasure vases. Till they're just shining and beckoning to all the other ones that will come along next, like Julian's in southwestern Australia, coming soon, and Olivia's that she's holding up in this moment for British Columbia, and all the other ones that are going to be anchoring our prayers in other locations, other nodes around the planet. So let's take one more breath. In and out, feeling the joy in the songs, in the birds, the barks of the dogs. Giving thanks and celebrating for a moment, one more moment with Therese, Itai, Stephen, Leslie, Roger, Pippa, Lama Sultram, and Isabel. Thank you so much, all of you. And all of you. May the goodness that we have generated here tonight go where it needs to go. Let's not hold on to it. Let's offer it up. Yeah. Feeding the spirit of what we want to see in the world. Come to the mandala, the online community sharing space where the comments from the chat will be posted and where we can continue the conversation. The recording will be there. The recording will also go to you via email. And look forward to seeing you again in the new year. Another year. Many, many blessings, everyone, and much, much love. Alalaho.